It's not easy and not always nice, but Ten Hag is ruthless. He is like a hitman, cool, calm and collected, doing the dirty work without getting his hands or claws dirty. What a legend. Captain Harry Maguire loses his captaincy and still does not get the hint from Ten Hag that he's not going to be in his plans going forward. Firstly, I'd like to kick off the show today congratulating this one man. I'm not sure actually if he is a man. Maybe he's a machine. Maybe he's a Terminator. Maybe he's an alien. His name is Erik Ten Hag, and he's the manager of Man United. Not since Fergie have I seen a manager so inspiring and so confident. He's come into Man United, sat down at his desk and set the record straight. He is the boss and no one can hide from him. Ready or not, he will find you. He's the only manager since Fergie that's come in and put two fingers up at the media and the press, telling them to get away from his club because they love to interfere and try to manage the club through their articles and their agendas. However, Ten Hag has not succumbed to their pressure. In his first season, Ten Hag came in and made the biggest decision no other manager would have taken. That is to drop the legend of a player, Cristiano Ronaldo. Then he made the other big decision of dropping Harry Maguire, the club captain, from the first 11. He did not care about all the pressure that he was under, saying that England captain Harry Maguire had a World Cup coming up and he must play in Man United. He didn't care. He put the club before anything else, and that is a mark of a top manager, just like Fergie used to do. In Ten Hag, we must trust. And yesterday, he formally met with Harry Maguire to discuss Harry Maguire's future, and he stripped him of the captaincy whilst he was at it. Now, it's really interesting to me because I don't think Ten Hag really gives a crap about who is the captain and who isn't. In fact, when he first came to Manchester United and he was questioned on the captaincy, he said he wanted 11 captains out there on the pitch. He didn't care who was that one single captain. And I don't think it was ever an issue until Harry Maguire got the captaincy. Until then, no one really cared who was the captain of Man United, although we've had some great captains, so I'm not going to take that away. But what I'm saying is that it wasn't an issue where this has turned into a media storm and people are releasing statements because of it. I bet you Harry Maguire was in that meeting and stopped listening to Ten Hag as soon as he heard he was no longer the captain, and then straight after released a really weird statement thanking the fans about losing his captaincy. Since when did the captaincy become such a big role? A role which required players to make statements? How weird. I had to read Maguire's statement twice just to make sure it was about his captaincy. His statement just illustrates how deluded Harry Maguire is. Clearly, years of being told he was a good centre-back by the media, he's genuinely started believing that he is one of the best in the world. But let's get this straight, Man United shouldn't be pressured into having Harry Maguire as their captain and or playing him. There is no need for that. If we're honest with ourselves, as fans, as critics, as analysts, Harry Maguire was simply not good enough to play for Manchester United, and that's it. Maguire cost Man United £80 million, which if you look back at it now, is a total rip-off. But let's get it right. It's not Maguire's fault. It's the people's fault that are around him who've bigged him up, have told him that he is the best, and Maguire slowly has started to believe that he is the best. I don't like coming out and saying players aren't good enough and they shouldn't be playing for Man United and they should be dropped. However, in Harry Maguire's case, look, I think we're doing him a favour as well as ourselves. He needs to understand that he can do a lot better at some other club where there's less pressure on him. I just feel like there's a lot of pressure on Harry Maguire to playing for Man United and being the captain. He did not need all that pressure, and I think that may have contributed to his downfall. However, let's be honest, he has got zero defensive awareness. He is really slow, he struggles to catch up to strikers, and he's just not good enough to play for a top club like Manchester United, a club that has top four ambitions, a club that's ambitious enough to say that they want to win the Premier League, and in fact ambitious enough to say that they want to be doing really good in the Champions League. With a player like Harry Maguire as a centre-back, I don't think we're going to achieve that. That's a simple fact. Harry Maguire and his meeting with Ten Hag, I don't think this was just a random meeting arranged by Ten Hag. Ten Hag is tactically tactical, he's cool, he's calm, he's collected, he knows exactly what he's doing. What Ten Hag has done is called Harry Maguire in to literally say to him, you have got no future at the club whilst I'm the manager of the club. I do not have you in my future plans. It's best if you leave. That is what the meeting was all about, and Ten Hag is a master at work. Wow, I cannot begin to tell you how impressive this guy is. He watches the game like most fans do, and he's able to sift through all that rubbish and see which players need to go and which players need help. Cristiano Ronaldo, David De Gea, now Maguire. He is on a roll. We finally have a manager with balls to make the right calls when they are needed. He's doing what most of us can see and admit is needed. It's not easy and not always nice, but Ten Hag is ruthless. He is like a hitman, cool, calm and collected, doing the dirty work without getting his hands or clothes dirty. What a legend. A smooth guy he is. That's what he is, a smooth guy. So let's hope Maguire can put 2 and 2 together and work out that Ten Hag is telling him to off. But we need to wait and see. Number one, if some clubs come in for him, and number two, if they can afford to pay his salary, or if he's willing to take a pay cut. If none of these two things happen, we could end up with a new Phil Jones, ladies and gentlemen. And I was probably the first person in the world to call this. The day Phil Jones' contract expired, I said Maguire may become the new Phil Jones. But for the sake of United and the possibilities of new signings, we need him out of United ASAP. We need to get the money, whatever we can for him, so we can spend that money on someone else and can add that on to the transfer kitty. There will always be some fans and press who will side with Maguire, and I appreciate that. But on this point, I cannot agree with you. I apologise. Maguire is not a good defender. Not good enough to play for a top 4 team, in my opinion. For those who argue that he plays well for England, I will say this. International games are totally different in style and pace to club and Premier League games. Let's be honest. Most international games are played against much inferior opposition teams. England rarely come up against big teams in major competitions and do well against them. I cannot remember Maguire being insane at any of those games. And even if he was, like I said, totally different styles of play. I'm going to have to move on from the Maguire topic because I quite honestly can go on for hours and hours analysing and discussing Harry Maguire. I believe I've made my point on Harry Maguire and how important it is for Manchester United to sell him so he doesn't cause a hindrance to our transfers coming in this summer. We need to sell him. Everybody is aware of that. I appreciate fans have different opposing opinions about Harry Maguire, but let's not be harsh. We want to thank Harry Maguire for what he's done for Man United in his time being here, his service. I do not like hating on players, especially when they're still Man United players, but this guy, I really hope he appreciates that he needs to be moved on and that he needs to go off to another club and try and resurrect his career. I don't think he's going to be a bad player. If he joins West Ham, which are the rumours right now, if he does end up joining West Ham, I think he'll do well. But look, there's a difference between West Ham and Manchester United, and we need to accept that. We need to accept that we need the very best in the world in our team. We cannot have mediocre players playing for our team, and that's what Ten Hag is here to do. He's here to sift out all these players, and he has been gradually, slowly doing that. He's been transforming the team. He's bringing in better players. He's taking out players that have become complacent and not bothered about trying hard. What I see is that he's bringing in players that actually give a crap, the players that actually want to run for the team, players that are trying to win, players that are hungry to win. Now let's move on to the transfer window. I would firstly like to congratulate all United fans because Inter Milan have confirmed that they have sold Onana, and we all know which club has bought him. It's not an official announcement, of course. Onana is on his way for a medical to Manchester United, I believe. And for all those who were asking me about my sources when I revealed last week that the deal was a done deal and Onana had signed, I would like to say that I was confident that my information was 99% accurate, and this is why I went public with it. Onana had signed off on his personal terms well before, and this is why I kept coming out and saying to all the fans out there to relax, to chill, because it was a done deal, because everyone was on the same page. Anyway, I'm not here to claim a reward for being on point about the signing of Onana. I'm just really happy we got the signing done and dusted, and he's coming to United. United. Now, as I've also been saying on my shows, United need to get hold of a striker ASAP. My sources have confirmed that United will not pay over the odds for Hojlund. However, they are going to go in and see if they can reach an agreement with Atalanta for Hojlund. Hojlund is keen on joining Man United. He's verbally agreed personal terms with Man United, and it's all about Atalanta. And if Atalanta can get this deal done, United, if they do not get Hojlund, are looking at other options as well. They are looking at other strikers. So Man United under Ten Hag are not playing around. They are not pussyfooting around. They are here to do deals and get them done. They have their key targets, and Ten Hag is tapping these players up. Ten Hag has spoken to Hojlund directly. He's told him about his plans and how he's going to fit into his system. And Hojlund is a huge fan of Man United and wants to join Ten Hag, and that is the problem Atalanta have probably got, because Hojlund is really keen on moving. And why would they want an upset player at Atalanta when they could get some serious money for him and sell him on? Let us know your thoughts on Hojlund. Should United go after him at all costs, or should they look elsewhere? Would you be happy for United to sign some other striker other than Hojlund? And if so, who? Let us know your thoughts below. I love hearing what the fans have to say about this whole issue. Which striker would you prefer? Do you know anyone that's not on Manchester United's radar that would be sick for Man United? Moving on, in yesterday's show, we discussed Sofyan Amrabat, the Moroccan international currently playing for Fiorentina in Serie A, and how Liverpool are also trying to sign him. As I said yesterday, United have not made any contact with Fiorentina. They have spoken to Amrabat, who is happy to join United, but the clubs have not yet talked. Maybe United were waiting for the Onana deal to close before they went to Amrabat, but I can now seriously say that Man United will be looking to go in for Amrabat and getting him, because he is a cheap player. And the only problem Man United have are the players that are not selling. United need to start selling some players so they can actually start making some moves for Amrabat. But I do think it's sensible for Man United to first go after a striker, get that position sorted, because that is the biggest position in the team that's missing. We haven't got anyone else. We've got Martial, but look, I think Man United would happily sell Martial if they got a decent offering. Martial spends more time in the medics room than he does out on the pitch. We've all know this. He has a top pre-season always, and then goes and gets injured and has not been consistent enough for us. And I don't think he's suited for the Premier League personally. I don't think he's a prolific striker, and I do not want to see Rashford play a strike, because I think he does a lot more damage. So we need an out-and-out striker, someone who's a goal poacher, and I believe in what Ten Hag is doing. Ten Hag has spotted him, has gone for him for a reason, and I think if Ten Hag can bring him in and Hojlund does come in, it would be a very, very good signing, because so far Ten Hag has picked perfect players for the team. Onana, Mason Mount, and then Hojlund and Amrabat would be the icing on the cake. I'd take that as a transfer window, and I'd be happy with that, because we'd have 4 very good players, 4 players who are hungry to prove themselves, 4 players that want to play for Manchester United. Finishing off, let me know who you think we should have as our new club captain. Who do you think Ten Hag's going to pick? I think if I was to guess, it would either be Bruno Fernandes or Casemiro. Personally, I would pick Casemiro. The reason why I would pick Casemiro, because I think he's physically and mentally strong. I believe Bruno Fernandes sometimes crumbles under the pressure when the game's not going for him. I think his attitude, like we saw last season, sometimes wavers a little bit, whereas Casemiro is on point. This dude does not miss. He is just a machine. He's calm. He's got the mental power and capabilities to be a captain, and he's got the experience. He's played for Real Madrid. He is a top player, and I believe he should be made captain. But I don't really care, to be honest with you, who the captain is. I want everyone out there performing and working as a team, and I don't care. It's not all about one player, it's about the team, and that's the only way we're going to succeed. Let's see what signings are taking place. I will bring you further news as to who's been signed and who's not. Any rumours out there, I will let you know. But you need to do one thing. You need to hit that like button, and you need to subscribe for further updates. Take it easy, and I will see you later. Goodbye.